I'm being bullied. The freaks who do it are even threatening to come to my house. I beg them not to. They don't understand. I'm the only remotely normal person in my family. My dad's a serial killer. My mom's a total psycho. My brother's a sociopath. And me, I'm just trying to survive. I dragged myself home, feeling like I was carrying the weight of the world. Dad answered the door, wearing an apron and flashing a sickeningly sweet smile. Hey, sweetie, I made you some after-school snacks. His smile widened, sending shivers down my spine. His apron was covered in fresh bloodstains, splattered just moments ago. Dad caught my horrified gaze and chuckled. Oops, got the apron dirty again. Your mom's gonna kill me. I nervously took off my shoes and stepped inside. There was a young woman tied to a chair, her hair a mess, face covered in blood, lips sewn shut. She saw me and made desperate, muffled noises, eyes pleading. I flinched and looked away. This lady, Dad said gently, abandoned her daughter, not even 5 years old, to fool around with some guy. That poor kid got run over, a bloody mess. Can you imagine how much she suffered? I sat stiff as a board on the couch, trying not to look at the woman. Seconds later, a blood-curdling scream tore through the air, lasting what felt like forever before fading away. Dad took off his glasses, wiped the blood from the lenses, and smiled at me. Honey, I'm gonna cut this lady up into little pieces now. It might be a little gross. Why don't you go to your room? I practically sprinted away. Behind me, Dad sighed. I don't know why she isn't more like us. I was shaking like a leaf, cold sweat covering my whole body. This wasn't the first time I'd seen Dad kill someone. The first time I was 5 years old. He sliced a guy's throat open right in front of me. He said the man had abused his wife for years, driving her to suicide, and never faced consequences. So Dad took care of it. I took a deep breath, trying to calm down. But what really had me on edge was tomorrow night. Those jerks who always bullied me were coming to my house. Just thinking about them made my stomach cramp. I begged them not to come. But they just grabbed my hair, slapped me around, and laughed, wanting to see what kind of freak show raised a loser like me. They have no idea. No one who's ever come to my house has left alive. The doorbell rang. I opened it, and there was Mom. She has this innocent, pretty face, but I know how messed up she really is. Mom smiled. Take off your clothes, I pleaded, but I obeyed, shaking as I stripped off my clothes, revealing the scars and bruises covering my body. Who did this, Her smile grew wider. I knew she was furious. When Mom gets angry, she does terrible things. When I was 5, a kid in kindergarten pulled out a chunk of my hair. The next day, he disappeared. The news said he had accidentally fallen from the roof. But I knew better. The candy clenched in his hand was the same kind Mom always bought me. In elementary school, my teacher thought I came from a poor family and constantly made snide remarks. Even though I did chores with the other kids, she always gave me the dirtiest, hardest jobs. She laughed when I tripped carrying a heavy bucket of water in the bathroom. I didn't tell my family. I hated the teacher, but I didn't want my family to do anything bad. But Mom found out. Soon after, I heard on the news that the teacher had died. She was jumped and assaulted by gang members while walking home at night. Her arms and legs were broken. When I saw pictures of the attackers, my blood ran cold. I'd seen Mom talking and laughing with those same guys near our house. Mom's cold fingers traced one of my bruises. I snapped back to reality and shivered. Mom sighed softly. Sometimes I really wonder if you're even my kid. I stared at her, silent. I knew I wasn't her real child. I've always been a softie. I cry too easily. I remember the day my cat got out when I opened the door. When we found it, it had been tortured. One leg sawed off, one eye gouged out. I was sobbing. My brother saw me crying. He said, "You don't want it to suffer anymore, do you?" I nodded through tears. The next second, he snapped the cat's neck. I heard the bone break. But I remember he was smirking. Later, Dad checked the security cameras. 2 boys from the neighborhood were the ones who hurt the cat. We went to their parents. They just brushed it off. It's just a stray cat. How much do we owe you? Call the police. Don't be ridiculous. Our kids are only 14. Honestly, it's your fault the cat got out. And your cat scared my children. One of the boys peeked out from behind his mom, smirking. Mom, that cat scratched us first. You hear that? I haven't asked for any money yet, and now you're here. Who knows if your cat had rabies? The mom scoffed. I was furious, tears streaming down my face. I saw them on the security camera. They stepped on the cat's tail, that's why it scratched them. The boy sneered. It was an accident. That cat scratches people. It should be killed. I ran up to argue, but his mom shoved me to the ground. My brother helped me up. He said, "Yeah, a creature that scratches people should be killed." His voice was icy. Mom and Dad didn't say a word, just smiled politely at the woman and her kid. The woman looked nervous, like she wasn't used to parents who didn't argue back. She told us to leave. A few days later, I woke up crying. I went to the kitchen for water. The front door opened. My brother walked in. His face was hidden in shadows. I smelled blood. There was a red stain on his jacket. "Bro, what did you do?" I asked, trembling. I already knew the answer. He grinned. "I took care of some creatures that scratch." Next day, the police came to our neighborhood. The two boys had been gutted. Their insides were everywhere. That's my family. They act like they care, but they scare me. Mom pinched my cheek. "What are you thinking about?" "I was just saying that. You're my precious baby." "Honey, I got a letter in the mailbox for you." Handed me an envelope. I opened it and my eyes widened. My whole body froze. It was a photo. It showed me on the ground, people kicking me. The bullies were pouring glue on my head. They were laughing. I remembered what they said. "Bitches don't deserve to have pretty hair." I remembered the pain of their heels pressing into my stomach. On the back of the photo, a sentence was scrawled. "We're excited to come to your house and see how the bitches live." The end, they'd drawn a smiley face. Sweat dripped down my forehead. I tried to hide the photo behind my back, but Mom took it from me. I watched her face. Her expression didn't change. She was still smiling. "Honey, did they do this to you? Is that why you cut your hair?" I nodded, pressing my face against her hand. "Please, I can transfer schools. Tell the teachers. I'll make them leave me alone." "Don't hurt them," I begged. Whenever I made Mom angry, this would work. Mom laughed softly. Her dark eyes bored into me. "Honey, I like when you beg, but it won't work this time. I told you we have to be nice to our guests. We can't turn them away." Touched my face and whispered, "We're going to give them an unforgettable night." Body went cold. That night I had a nightmare. I was 8 years old again, standing barefoot in the living room. It was dark. My parents' door was open a crack. Light seeped out. I heard them talking. I walked closer. "I don't know if we did the right thing bringing her home." "Do you regret it?" "Not regret, but this kid. If we don't want her anymore, we can get rid of her. There's more than one body in the garden." I felt cold. I was trapped in hell. The room fell silent. My parents slowly opened the door. They stared at me. Kids who eavesdrop are bad. I woke up in a cold sweat. That conversation from when I was 8 had become a nightmare, a noose tightening around my neck. I didn't know when it would snap. I wasn't their real kid. That's why my personality was so different. If Mom and Dad got upset, I'd be gone, like all the others Dad had killed. Throat slit, blood spraying everywhere as you wait to die. My eyes darted to the door. It was slightly open. I froze. I'd locked it before bed. A dark figure stood silently in the doorway. I recognized the outline of those expensive Italian leather shoes. "Ryan," I whispered, voice shaking. My brother stepped out of the shadows. He's always busy with work and rarely comes home. It had been almost 3 months since I last saw him. He looked down at me, his handsome face unreadable. "What are you doing here, Ryan?" I forced a smile. Out of everyone in this family, Ryan scared me the most. Every time he came home, no matter how many times I locked my door, I'd wake up from nightmares to find him sitting on my bed, just staring at me. He reached out and touched my ear. His fingers were ice cold. I flinched, trying not to show it. I couldn't resist. I knew it would only excite him more. Mom called and said your friends are coming over tomorrow. She wanted me here for it. I tensed, my back stiff. "We have to make a good impression, right, Sammy?" He chuckled and pinched my ear. "Besides, I missed you." Ryan took off his jacket and sat on the edge of my bed, staring like a viper ready to strike. "Why can't you hug me like you hugged that teddy bear of yours?" His voice was low and raspy. Another shiver ran down my spine. "I'm tired, Ryan. Can you leave?" I whispered, pale. He stared at me forever. Finally, he placed a soft kiss on my forehead. "Good night, Sammy." Got up and left. I grabbed my blanket, pulled it over my head, and curled into a ball. I knew he wasn't gone. He was just pretending. I could feel his eyes on me. Morning came. I must have fallen asleep at some point. I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. The girl in the mirror looked weak and pale. I took a deep breath. I have to stop them from coming today. The corner of the living room were black garbage bags, bulging and lumpy. I smelled the faint metallic odor. It made me want to throw up. I knew what was inside. But something wasn't right. There were fewer bags than before. "Breakfast. I made your favorite oatmeal." Dad was wearing his apron, smiling. On the table was a pot of steaming oatmeal. The smell of meat filled the air. I sat, pale-faced, staring at the chunks of bright red meat floating in the oatmeal. Could it be? Ryan was eating his oatmeal, smiling. "What's wrong, Sammy? You're not eating. I think the young are always more tender than old people." I couldn't hold it in. I ran to the bathroom and started gagging. I heard Mom complain from the living room. "Ryan, don't tease your sister. You know she's sensitive. This is just the bacon from the market." I sighed in relief, then turned and saw Ryan smiling at me. He just loved seeing me like this. I skipped the bus and took a cab to school. As soon as I walked into the classroom, all the eyes I dreaded were on me, like a pack of wolves spotting their prey. I nervously made my way to my desk and sat down. Something felt off. I tried to stand up. My skirt was glued to the chair. Then came the sound of fabric ripping. Everyone turned to look. My skirt was torn. Nobody laughed, but their eyes were full of amusement. My face went white. Oh my God, who put glue on Sammy's chair? Here, take my jacket. Ashley wrapped her jacket around my waist. I cringed. Matt, get Sammy a new chair. The jock gave me a new chair, but I saw the malice in his eyes. Okay, class is about to start. Ashley pushed me back down. Suddenly, pain shot up my leg. I gasped, sweat breaking out across my forehead. Ashley whispered in my ear, "Did you know a bitch is always the target? I put tacks all over your seat. You better be grateful." I was in too much pain to speak. It was so bad. The bell rang. Ashley went back to her seat. I could feel the blood seeping through my clothes. The teacher walked in. I looked up. She saw my face. She looked at me, then turned around and looked down at her book. I had tried to talk to teachers before. I told her about the bullying. She said she'd help, that she would talk to me after school, but I should have known she was scared. After school, she brought me somewhere. There were Ashley, Matt, and Ryan. It hurt a lot. I started to laugh. Ashley's dad donated a lot of money to the school. Nobody messed with Ashley. As the pain got worse, I glanced out the window and saw a familiar figure. I couldn't stand it anymore and jumped up. One of the other students screamed, "Your skirt is all bloody." Ashley said, "Maybe she's on her period. Let me help her." "Don't," the teacher said. "You can do it by yourself," the class murmured. I heard Sammy can't even buy pads. That's so disgusting. I knew she was trashy. I stared silently. Ashley dug her nails into my arm, pain. She pulled me away from the classroom and pushed me to the ground. She looked down at me. What had I done? I had been nice to everyone. This was a rich school. I didn't fit in. Ashley's crush told me he liked me one day, but I was helping them. Anyone who liked me or wanted to be friends with me vanished. Ryan held me and said, "I'm sorry, but how could you not like me?" I was pulled back. Ashley stepped on my hand. "Treat us well." She smiled like the devil. I looked at her and said, "Okay." Ashley went silent. She didn't think I'd agree, but she smiled wider. So excited. School, Ashley and Matt surrounded me. Outside the gate was a car. Ryan smiled at me. I shrunk. "I'm here to take you home." Ashley, Matt, and Ryan all gasped. Ashley smiled bigger. "You didn't tell us you had a brother." I didn't answer. Ashley went up and said, "Hi, I'm Ashley. We're Sammy's friends. She invited us over." Ryan raised his eyebrows. "Nice." I tried to sit in the front seat, but Ashley pushed me away. "Can I sit up here? I don't feel well." "Sure," Ryan said. He looked at her bare legs. Ashley blushed. Ryan then grabbed my shoulder and said, "Wow, your brother is hitting on Ashley." I didn't answer. Yes, he wanted to kill those legs. If he dates her, you'll be family together. You'd be happy, Sammy. She wanted to see me scared. I smiled. Ashley sat down in the front. She screamed and jumped back. Her leg was bloody. A tack was in her skin. Ryan looked surprised. "Can I take you to the hospital?" Ashley glared at Ryan. I knew it was him. I'd seen him outside the school. He was keeping an eye on me. I clinched my shirt. Ryan smiled. I looked away. We took Ashley to the hospital. As she treated it, she grabbed Ryan's hand. She quickly looked away. "Sorry." "It's my fault," Ryan said. Ashley looked at me. I looked pale. Ryan whispered to me, "Are you scared Ashley will take me away?" "No, he will kill her. He is always nice to his victims." I was terrified. I saw their faces turn into skulls. They came to my house. Matt sneered, "Why do you even take the bus to school?" Then he went silent. They weren't being kind to me anymore. Ashley glanced at my parents. Mom calmly made coffee for everyone and said, "Sammy never mentioned having friends." Matt blushed awkwardly. I watched in silence. I hadn't forgotten how he beat me. Matt eyed the black trash bags and asked, "What in there?" I clenched my coffee cup tightly. My parents smiled, calm and confident. Matt walked over to the bags. My heart pounded in my chest. My parents looked almost happy. Matt opened the bags. He cringed. "It smells." Stepped back. The bags were filled with bloody meat. Ashley and another student grimaced. "That's from the market," Mom said. "I was going to feed it to the dogs nearby." I sighed in relief. Matt still looked disgusted. Ashley asked, "Does she have a nickname?" Mom tilted her head. Ashley answered herself, "Bitch." The room fell silent. She smiled cruelly. Ryan said, "I'd say puppy." Ashley's smile vanished. Parents are idiots. The teacher said nothing. Matt took a sip of coffee but suddenly stopped. He spat something out. "What is this?" he demanded. He stared at me. "Your parents killed someone." "Calm down. What is it?" Matt's face went pale. "It's a sugar cubie." But I saw a finger in it. "Are you watching scary movies now?" Outside, strange flowers grew near our house. They made people hallucinate. Matt calmed down, but then he acted strange. Do you hear that? There's a noise coming from the bags. Ashley asked, what are you talking about? Don't you hear it? Matt yelled. His face froze. He looked at the bags, curiosity mixed with fear. Then pee ran down his legs. Ashley screamed, Matt! Matt shouted, she's crawling out, the women. Can't you see her? My parents smiled wider, pleased. A girl screamed, I want to go home. Ashley said something but then went silent. We're leaving. She grabbed her bag and looked at me one last time. No, she collapsed to the floor. You're already dead. You've been dead all along. I knew who she meant, the victim before me, Sarah. The teacher tried to escape. The door had 8 locks. Ryan said, let have some fun first. Ashley, Matt, and the teacher collapsed on the floor. They woke up tied up. I stood nervously behind my family. What do you want? Matt yelled. The teacher sobbed. Ashley demanded, what do you want? My dad will kill you. Ryan pulled out his phone. On the screen was a video. Ashley's dad, naked and tied up, screaming in fear. This fat slob is your dad. Ashley's face twisted with anger. Release my father. Your dad used to kill pigs. He liked skinning them alive. Her face drained of color. What do you want? I'll give you a choice, Ryan said calmly. You and your father, you can let him die. Teacher sobbed harder. If you kill us, it's illegal. Mom gently petted my hair. Oh, it's okay. You were scared too when they did it. Teacher begged. Matt begged. I stared at them all. They were pathetic. Dad asked, what do you want? I clenched my fists. I whispered, you choose. They all screamed. I said, I like to see people die. Ryan asked Ashley, 3, 2, 1. Ashley cried, I want alive. Ryan smiled. In the video, Dad was cut in half. Ashley screamed. I stayed silent. The teacher collapsed and peed herself. Matt was speechless. Ryan had killed Dad. He looked perfectly calm. So sorry. Let me go, Ashley begged. Ryan said, you told her you like being a bitch. He smiled coldly and looked at me. I'll show you what a real bitch is. A shiver ran down my spine. The room felt freezing. Mom said softly, don't. Ashley screamed again. Ryan stared at her legs. I'll turn you into a dog. Ashley's screams echoed. Stop, you're hurting her. Ryan just smiled. Mom grabbed my hand firmly. Come on, let them handle this. Sammy, no, please don't watch me die. They begged desperately. I stood up and said, you shouldn't have come here. I warned you. I walked away. Screaming followed behind me. I'm used to it, but I cried quietly. I hugged Mom tightly. Will you kill me too? I asked. What are you talking about? Mom said. Remember what you said. I know I'm not your real child. Whispered, you will always be our child. I carried you. I pressed, then what about Ryan? She sighed. We adopted your brother. We thought he was normal, but he's not. He's dangerous. We even considered killing him. But she said softly, he loves you. I said, okay. The screaming stopped. The door creaked open. I couldn't look. When I finally glanced, Ryan's face was covered in blood. He tried wiping it off, and yet I felt something. I was happy. My name is Sammy. My parents are evil. I inherited their darkness. But I hid it well. Ryan was adopted. I love him. I would swallow him whole and keep him forever. I pretended to be the good girl. I shivered, not from fear, but because I loved my family. They're foolish. They don't understand. Ryan killed those boys. I cleaned up. Dad killed for a time. I stopped him, and I am happy.